So sometimes I can't find the values the right value.
Okay. So now any specific problem we can discuss, like. Okay, okay. I will be discussing some of the problems in this chapter itself, area moment of inertia. So I will be putting some effort on that.
Okay, sir.
Sir,
हाँ दारो दारो. Okay, so I'm opening the Jamboard. Just give me some time, 2 or 3 minutes, and I'm sharing my screen also. Trying to share my screen. Don't know what will happen. So you can see my screen, right?
yes, sir.
Okay, so let's start discussing the problem number. Uh, এটা প্রবলেম নাম্বারটা হচ্ছে 4.3, ঠিক আছে, not 43, it is 4.3. So we'll be starting with problem number 4.3. So you can see that there are actually two circular. So we have to find out there is a pipe actually. So it's hollow inside. So there are two radius. So in the inner radius will be 0.5 inches, and the outside radius, you can understand that the outside radius will be equal to 0.6 inches. So we have to determine the largest couple that can be applied to each of the pipes. So there are two pipes actually, A and B, that have been given. So we have to find out which one is the largest couple acting on the pipes. Okay, so in order to find out the largest couple that will act on the pipe actually, so we have to determine at which radius actually the largest couple will be acting. So we are having, so let's discuss problem number A. So in the problem number A, we have something like there is a circular or a pipe cross section. So for a pipe actually, the cross section is always a hollow cross section actually. So you are having a outer radius R0. So you are having something an outer radius R0, and you are having an inner radius, which I am calling it as, in the note actually, I have called it as Ri. So you also refer to the note page number 48. So in this case, we have to calculate the maximum moment. So as we know the expression for the moment actually, so if we write the pure bending equation, so M by I, that is equal to sigma by Y. So as you can understand, so where sigma max will occur, so sigma max will occur where sigma max will occur where Y is maximum. So in this case actually, so what will be the neutral axis for such a circular pipe cross section? So for a circle actually, so the neutral area, the neutral axis will be something like this. So the pipe is something like this. So if you consider it as a beam actually, so it is fixed like this. The beam is fixed something like this actually. So this is the beam actually. Now, if I see it from this side, I will be getting this cross section. So this is the circular cross section. So whenever you are having a beam, cut it with a sectional plane perpendicular to its length axis. So then you will be getting the cross section. So what is the cross section of such a beam? So the cross section of such a beam are two concentric circles. So as you can understand, so the neutral axis will be, so this is the neutral axis. So this neutral axis, so this is the neutral axis for any circular cross section actually. So for a circular cross section, so if it is a solid cross section actually, the maximum stresses will be on the outside. In this case also, so it's a hollow cross section. So in this case, Y will be maximum when Y is equal to R0. So Y max. So in our case, so any Y max. So Y max will be equal to what? Y max will be equal to R0 or the outside radius. So the maximum stress will certainly occur at the outer radius. So the maximum moment will correspond to that. So M by I, that is equal to your the maximum stress actually. So the maximum stress is given actually. So the stress is 16 KSI. So this is sigma is 16 divided by Y max. So Y max we have to put it as R0. Now we have to calculate the value of I. So what is I for such a cross section? The second moment of inertia. So as we know that for a circular cross section, if it's a circle actually, so the second moment of inertia is 5 by 4 r to the power 4. So this formally actually you have to remember. So for a solid circle, it will be r0 to the power 4. And the contribution of this inner portion is not there. It's a hollow cutout. So that is why this will be minus ri to the power 4. So in this way, you have to calculate the value of I. So you put all the values. So you know the value of R0. So I know the value of R0. So if I put that here. So so the moment of inertia I will be pi by 4. R0 is actually 0.6 to the power 4 minus 0.5 to the power 4. So you are getting the value of I. So once you are getting the value of I, you put it in the expression. So sigma will be equal to, or you have to calculate M actually. So M, so the maximum moment M, so that will be equal to what? Sigma into I divided by Y max. So Y max is C in this case. So generally whenever there is a Y max, so that is represented by C. C is the distance of the farthest fiber from the neutral plane. So the farthest fiber from the neutral plane in this case is the outer radius of the circle. So we have to put Y max. Either you can write it as Y max or C. In the book they have written it by C. So either put it C. So just put the values. So I you have got, sigma you know. So sigma is something like 16 into I is something, it will come out to be, you see, 52.7 into 10 to the power minus 3 divided by the value of C. So Y max. So the outer radius, which is equal to 0.6. So just you put the values, you will be getting the value of the maximum couple. So it should be coming out to be 1.4, something like 1.4 kilo inch KIP inches. Okay. So the problem B is also similar. No changes in that. You can just try the second problem by yourselves. You can see that for the problem B, if I go there actually, so for the problem configuration B, we have to find out the maximum couple, largest couple. So the largest couple will be occurring at the distant, the farthest fiber. So ekhane the most distance fiber, Y max is always 0.5 plus 0.2 R0, which is outer radius of the circle. So at the outer radius of the circle, I'm getting Y max. So since that is Y max, the maximum moment will occur there. So Y max in this case is equal to 0.7. So just put that value, you'll be getting the value of the maximum moment. ঠিক আছে?
So I mean, how the moment is actually acting. I can calculate the thing, but what is going on inside the system?
Exactly. Achha. So what is going on is like, so আমি যদি এটাকে আঁকতে চাই, so the thing you asked is like, ধরো আমি যদি এটাকে এইভাবে আঁকি, so I can draw it something like this. So this is a circular cross section beam. This is a pipe actually. ঠিক আছে, hollow pipe. So it is এটা ফিক্সড কি বলেছে, এটা ফিক্সড বলেনি ধরো. So this is a cross section, this is being bent. Say suppose that this end is fixed, this end of the pipe is fixed. Now what I'm doing is I am applying a bending moment on that one. So as I had told you that always the length axis of the beam, you have to take it as the your x axis. So this one is the x axis. Now what I'm doing it, I am bending it. দেখো bending টা কোন axis এ হচ্ছে, the where is the bending occurring. So if you see in this figure, so actually this is, so whenever you are considering the cross section, so the cross section is always the YZ plane. So the YZ plane actually is being bent. So how it's being bent? So you see that this one is the Z axis. Generally the M1 line, we take it as the Z axis. So along the Z axis, it's being bent. So it's being bent like this actually. So this beam actually, so this one is the x axis, sorry, this is x. So this one is the y axis, but ধরো এইটাকে আমি যদি ধরি, so this one is the y axis and this one is the z axis, say suppose. So এখানে if I draw it, so this one is the y axis and this one is the z axis. So always the length of the beam is actually, we take it as the x axis, and yz plane will always be the plane of the cross section actually. So you can understand that actually neutral plane, whenever we are calling it as a neutral plane, we are taking it as a line, but neutral plane is actually a plane. So for a beam actually, this is a total, the neutral plane is actually a total plane actually. It's a total plane actually. Now if I take a cross section, any cross section, so on that cross section the neutral axis will become a line actually. Okay, just I am seeing it from this side actually. So you take any cross section. So suppose I am taking the cross section around here. So the thing is actually this is the neutral axis. I am saying that the cross section here is a circle and this one is its neutral axis. So neutral axis is a line. So that is why I'm calling it axis, but it's totally in totality it's a neutral plane. So if you consider the xy plane actually xy, so actually it's a neutral plane, np, neutral plane, any plane, neutral axis plane. And if you consider the yz, it is a neutral axis. So it's a line. So neutral axis is a line. Are you able to understand? Now what he is asking is,
Yes.
so now it's being bent. So how it's being bent? Either it's being bent like this, say suppose this one. So either it's being bent like this, but to make it positive actually. So along this it's being bent so that the beam actually, so from this side it's taking a shape like this. So it's actually taking a shape like this. So this is the fixed end. So it's taking a shape like this such that upper it is compression, lower it is tensile. So this is the beam that's being bent actually. So this is the axis and about it the moment is being applied. The moment, certain moment actually is being applied. So it's difficult to understand, but I hope you can understand this beam actually. So if this was the line, if I consider it that as a line, so this line becomes something like this after bending. So just it will take a circular shape. So this entire thing, or if I try to draw the beam, so it will try to bend like this actually. This is the final configuration of the thing.
Yes, I got it.
Okay, so this is how I am bending it. So actually you can understand that which one is resisting the bending. Not every cross section is trying to resist the bending. So whatever is the cross section, that cross section is the resistance to its bending. So why it always we calculate I. So I is a measure of the resistance that is providing to bending. You can understand that as if I increase the cross section, the bending you will be requiring more bending moment because it's directly dependent on the cross section actually. Okay. So এটা একটা হলো. So now this problem rather এইটা একটু easier হবে. This one is the easier problem. আমি এটা লাস্টটা করি, এটাতে আবার ব্যাক করব because someone told me that that there are some ঠিক আছে মানে at your stage it is always difficult, I can understand, to মানে this sort of problems মানে to address this sort of problems. So I will be doing this sort of a problem where we actually require like the entire concept of the moment of inertia and all. So I will be doing problem number this one. So this one is referring to problem number 4-9. I hope you can understand problem number 4-9. Okay, we have half an hour. I hope I can complete that one. So okay, so problem number 4-9, just I won't be returning to this one, so I'm repeating the question from here. So as you can see, this is a beam actually. So ABC is the length of the beam. So ABC, so whenever you're seeing this bottom picture when you're seeing it, the top view actually, this is the front view. So this one is the front view, this one is the side view. Okay? So if you see that this is the length axis of the beam, so along the beam actually some loads have been applied. So the loads are actually transverse to the length of the beam. Length of the beam if I consider, so if it is x-axis, the loads are in the y-axis actually. So y-axial loads are being applied. So that is why beam always has transverse loading. I had told you in the first class. What is a beam? Beam generally bears transverse loading. So always the loading is transverse. Number one. Number two, this beam has been loaded by two loads. One is 4 kilonewton, another one is 4 kilonewton. So this is the case of pure bending. Why? I will be coming to that one. Why it's a pure bending case. I will be explaining that to you. Why the bending at all is pure bending. And next thing is, this is the cross section. So this one is the cross section of the beam. So about this cross section is actually resisting the bending. So in this case, we have to find out the maximum tensile and the compressive stresses that occur in the part BC of the beam. So in the portion BC of the beam, what is the stress acting that we have to determine. Okay. So this is the problem. So now I am trying to do this problem. So I hope you can understand that in order to find out the stresses, you have to first find out the moment of inertia. So since some have some problems regarding moment of inertia, so let's do one complete problem in moment of inertia. So suppose you are having any, so these sort of figures are known as your composite figures. So for any regular figure like square, circle, semicircle, and all these sort of figures, actually we don't always find out the moment of inertia. Once you have found it, it's okay, then you forget that one. Just you remember what is the formula for calculation of the moment of inertia. But whenever we are coming to complex shapes, actually complex figures, so we have to individually consider each of the each of the regular figures that comprise this cross section. So the cross section is something like this. So the beam is having a cross section like this. So I hope you can understand that it is a combination of a semicircle on the top and a rectangle at the bottom, right? So these sort of sections are known as your composite sections. So for these sort of things, first you have to do what you have to do is the basic thing is take the base as the bottom. Acha. First thing is for this sort of a figure. Actually, I hope you can understand that this is symmetrical about the y-axis. So wherever you take the y-axis doesn't matter, but this should be symmetric about the y-axis. So let's say that this is the axis system that I initially assume. About the base I am taking it as x, and about this axis I am taking it as y, and I hope you can understand that this figure is actually symmetrical about the y-axis. So at least you can predict where the centroid will lie. So it will lie somewhere around here on this y line itself, because it's symmetric on both the sides. So it will lie on the y-axis that I have chosen, but I cannot tell its height. I cannot tell where it will be lying along the y-axis. So in order to determine where along it will be lying on the y-axis, so I have to determine it will lie on the y-axis, but where on the y-axis I don't know. So for that I have to divide it into two parts. So you see in the note I have divided into two parts. So first one is the part 1 and this one is the part 2. So for the first part actually, so what will be A1? So A1 will be equal to, it's a half circle, so that is half pi r square. So you just put the values, whatever are the values. So half pi into, so the radius of that part is 25 square. So whatever is the value, you just write down. So you are getting is, you can do it in a tabular form also. Generally, these sort of problems in the books, they sometimes do it in a tabular form. So since because of lack of space, I am doing it in a general fashion. So this is the area I find out. And what will be y1? So what will be y1? So y1 is, so I'm doing it for the semicircle. So for the semicircle, so as for a semicircle, I know it will be 4r by 3 pi, but from where? It will be from the base of the semicircle. So this is actually now the base of the semicircle. But when I am considering a composite figure, I have to consider it that the both things are joined actually. So now my x-axis is actually this one. So all my measurements has to be with reference to this x-axis. So when I am calling it as y1, so this centroid I am calling it as say g1. So this centroid I am calling it as G1, and G2 is the centroid of the rectangle. And between these two, somewhere around here, G, the centroid of the entire composite must lie. Okay? So G1 is the centroid of the semicircle, and G2 is the centroid of the rectangle. Okay? We don't know where is the location of G, but we can determine G1 and G2. But when I am calculating G1, so whenever I am calculating G1, so always I have to take care that I have to measure it from the x-axis of the entire figure. So this figure is joined. I cannot calculate y1 just 4r by 3 pi. So I have to take into account this length plus this one will be 4r by 3 pi. So this length, so this one is 4r by 3 pi. So plus this one, so what is this length? So this is 25. This length is actually 25. So I have to write it like 25 plus 4r by 3 pi. Okay? Now you put all the values, you calculate, it's done in the note actually. So you can see the value of y1, it's coming out to be something like 10.6 millimeter. So just do the calculation, r, pi, everything you know actually. So from here, you can, if you calculate, so you will be getting the value of a1 and y1. Okay, now we come to the second plane figure that comprises this complex shape or the composite shape. So for the second figure, I have to calculate A2. So what is A2? A2 is a rectangle. So for a rectangle, I know A2 will be equal to what? 25 into your, this one will be 50. So this radius is 25. So since this radius is 25, this entire length. So this entire length will be 50. So A2 will be equal to 50 into 25. I hope you can understand. So that is equal to 25. 5, it's like 1250, I think. 1250 millimeter square. So you are getting the value of A2. And now you have to calculate y2. So when you calculate y2, so since it's a rectangle, so for a rectangle, you can understand that always its centroid will be at v by 2 dy 2. Okay? So for this rectangle, so if I consider this as a different rectangle, just a standalone rectangle. Okay? So for this rectangle, it should be at v by 2 dy 2. So this will be at, so since this is 25, this length, so it will be at 25 by 2. And since it's already on the x-axis, so I can, so it's actually, it's bound to this x-axis. So I'm just writing it as 25 by 2, which is 12.5 millimeter.
স্যার y1 টা 35.6 হবে, আপনি শুধু 4r/3 পাইটা ক্যালকুলেট করেছেন।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ 35.6 মিলিমিটার হবে, ঠিক আছে। আমি ক্যালকুলেট করিনি, আমি আই জাস্ট পুট ইট বেসড অন নোট। হ্যাঁ, এটা কত এসছে? 35.6. So this is the first step whenever you are encountering a composite shape. So any composite shape, you have to first consider one axis, one base. So either you can put the bottom part as the base, or you can put the top part as the base, wherever do you do it. But whatever is your reference axis. So this one is my reference axis now. So this x and y is my reference axis. This is not a centroidal axis. So this, based on this reference axis, I have to calculate the final y actually. So whenever you are calculating y1, always remember that it has to be 25 plus that one. So now you have got everything. Now you calculate the value of y bar. So in order to calculate y bar, now it becomes easier. So since they are actually addition, so this is actually a contribution from both the figures. So y is actually a contribution from, it's having contribution from both a1 and a2. So that is equal to a1 y1 plus a2 y2 divided by a1 plus a2. So you put all the values. So whatever is the values you have got, so if you put everything, so you'll be getting something like 22.66 millimeter. So this is the y bar actually. So now based on this y bar, you have to define the centroidal axis of the system. So now I am drawing it as a centroidal axis, remembering this value 22.6 or 22.7, whatever you say. So now I am again drawing the figure. Now you forget about the reference axis. Now you know the entirety of this figure. So you know where the centroidal axis actually lying of this cross section lies, and once you know where the centroidal axis lies, you are actually conversant with its neutral axis, because the neutral axis passes through the centroid of the cross section. So this is the same, say this total thing I am calling it as the neutral axis. So this one we have determined actually. So from the base, this length is, so we have determined this y bar. So this y bar, it came out to be something like 22.66 millimeter. So we have got this one, right? So now we have to calculate I for the entire figure. So as you can understand that since it's a composite figure, as similar to the centroid actually, it will be the I actually, the moment of inertia, it will be having a contribution from the upper semicircle, and it will be having a contribution from the lower rectangle. So now I hope you can understand that. Acha. So now, আচ্ছা, so এইটাকে 1 বলেছিলাম, so this I had called it as 1. So I hope now, আচ্ছা এইভাবে না এঁকে, let's draw it like the thing that we did in the last semesters and all. So suppose say so I am drawing only the centroidal axis. So there are 3 points. One is this one. So this one is G1, which is the centroid. So this is the centroidal axis of the semicircle taken alone. Okay. Then there is a point somewhere around here. Let's call it as G2. So this is the centroidal axis of the rectangle taken alone. And there is a some point, some G. So this is actually the point where the centroid of the entire cross section actually lies. So when I take the first plane figure, which is a semicircle. So for the first plane figure, this semicircle I am now considering. Okay, so this first figure is a semicircle. I am writing it as SC. Okay. So for the semicircle, what we know is, so in order to calculate the moment of inertia of a semicircle about its own CG. So now I'm calculating the moment of inertia about its own CG. So IG1. So this is the moment of inertia of the semicircle about an axis passing through G1 itself. Not an axis passing through G. I am just doing it. I am calculating the moment of inertia about an axis which passes through G1 itself. So what is the formula? So the formula we know, like semicircular ক্ষেত্রে, what is the formula? Okay. দাঁড়াও, এখানে একটু সমস্যা আছে। এটা একটু ডিফারেন্ট হবে। এক সেকেন্ড, জাস্ট গিভ মি 1 সেকেন্ড। আচ্ছা না ঠিক আছে okay so moment of inertia of a semicircle so since it's a circular ক্ষেত্রে it was like pi by 4 r to the power 4 তাই তো so since it's half of a circle actually so you can put it like pi by 8 r to the power 4 I think তাই তো কারো কাছে বইটা আছে can someone just verify what was the value for a semicircle hello
Sir, do you have to memorize this, sir?
না না হ্যাঁ মানে at least for a semicircle is a basic figure so just you have to memorize that one but what I remember is for a semicircle it's just half of the circle actually just if someone is having a book দেখো last there is a table actually you don't have to memorize মানে you can't memorize it for this sort of মানে complex shape just for the basic shapes like when you are having some basic shapes like semicircle rectangle for them you have to remember like bd cube by 12 for a circle it is pi by 4 r to the power 4 these sort of things you have to remember but
For
not the other things
semicircular is pi r power 4 by 4.
सर
circle के लिए 4 है ना
सर
सर semicircular एरिया के लिए भी तो वही है pi
ये
r
पाई
square
बाई
by
4 है ना ठीक है जस्ट चेक दिस वैल्यू আমি এটা নোটে एक्चुअली 8 লিখে রেখেছি आई डोंट नो वेदर आई एम रॉन्ग और नॉट इन दैट केस थोड़ा इसको चेक कर लेना ठीक है
सर
Just
ওটা
check
80
that.
হবে স্যার স্যার ওটা
8
প্যারালাল
হওয়া
ওই
উচিত বিকজ ফর আ সার্কেল রুকো
স্যার স্যার
সার্কেল কে
ওই
लिए
দুটো
तो
ইয়ে নিয়ে পারপেন্ডিকুলার অ্যাক্সিস দিয়ে বার করব না স্যার ওটা তো আউট অফ যে
দাঁড়াও
একটা
সার্কেলের
আউট অফ
জন্য
দি
অ্যাকচুয়ালি
প্লেন
আমার
আছে তার
ডায়ামিটার দিয়ে
জন্য
মনে
হবে
আছে পাই বাই 64 d টু দি পাওয়ার 4 সো d হচ্ছে টুয়াইস 2 8 তাহলে 2 to the 4 8 8 8 just 64 so for a circle it is pi by 8 r to the সার্কেলের জন্য it is দাঁড়াও d to the d 2 r 4 4 4 16 4 okay for a circle it is pi by 4 r to the power 4 for a circle it is pi by 4 r to the power 4 so for a semicircle it should be half of that one so that is pi by 8 r to the power 4 because just it is having a half contribution on that ঠিক আছে
okay sir
and it is actually applying half contribution to its মানে to that rotation actually so এটা actually কোন axis around I forgot just এটার জন্য একটু সমস্যা হচ্ছে এটা দেখ
চেঞ্জ হয়ে যাচ্ছে স্যার ওই
হ্যাঁ
অ্যাক্সিস এর পয়েন্টটা তো চেঞ্জ হয়ে যাচ্ছে মানে যখন একটা ফুল সার্কেল নেওয়া হচ্ছে তখন তো ওটার
হ্যাঁ ওইটাই সেটাই আমি বলছি পাই বাই 8 টা বোধহয় এইখানে ছিল যতদূর আমার সেটা খেয়াল পড়ছে না সেটাই সমস্যা
জি1 এর সাপেক্ষে করলে তো মনে হচ্ছে চেঞ্জ হবে
স্যার জি1 এর অ্যাবাউট তো হবে না স্যার ওটা আমাদেরকে সিওএম থেকে ডিসটেন্স মাইনাস করে মাল্টিপ্লাই করে বার করতে হবে না
exactly so এইটা actually হবে হচ্ছে so this will be so whenever you are getting like pi by 8 r to the power 4 so you are taking half of a circle so this is actually from the base of the semicircle so this moment of inertia is always from the base of the semicircle I am measuring so now I have to find out initially IG1 so IG1 will be this one minus your so দাঁড়াও এটা একটু ক্যান্সেল ইয়ে করে নি এক সেকেন্ড বা আমরা এটাকে let's calculate it from the just let's calculate it separately so for a circle so suppose I am having a semicircle so this one is say suppose IG1 I am to calculate and I have already got the value of I1 so actually the formula will be like I1 should be equal to IG plus A into this one A distance টা কত this distance is 4r by 3 pi তাই তো square let's write it like here so I1 that is equal to your IG plus your area of the semicircle into your এটা হচ্ছে 4r by 3 pi whole square ঠিক আছে so now what you do is I have to calculate IG বা এটাকে IG1 ই করো so this is IG1 so now IG1 will be equal to I1 minus your this one so minus A into 4r by 3 pi whole square so I think I have done it somewhat wrong
অন্য লেখা
বলছি
হ্যাঁ নোটে ওটা ভুল করেছি আমি নোটে এটা ভুল আছে একটু
স্যার ওখানে
so just you calculate so what is
মিলিমিটার আপনি অ্যাড করেছেন ওখানে d1 এর ভ্যালুতে
স্যার এখানটায় তো আই1 টা না বের করলেও চলে যেত মানে আই1 যখন
তুমি
পেয়ে
হ্যাঁ তুমি ডাইরেক্টলিও করো আচ্ছা তুমি বলছো এটা ডাইরেক্টলি করবে তো আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে so we have got আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে দাঁড়াও বুঝতে পেরেছি দাঁড়াও এক সেকেন্ড মানে IG1 টা বের করে না করে মানে you are asking me to directly do it using the parallel axis. So I1 I have got. So I1 is about the base of the semicircle. So about the base of the semicircle we know. So no need to calculate it about the মানে CG of the semicircle. So they are just directly we can calculate what is about G. So এটা মোছাটা খুব বাজে হচ্ছে মানে अच्छा ठीक है ये मैंने ये रब करना बहुत प्रॉब्लम हो जा रहा है ठीक है no problem so I am naming this one so like I have got this value actually so actually I have got I1 so I1 is actually this one ठीक है now I have to calculate IG1 IG actually so let's call it like IG1 so this is the contribution from 1 so এটা সরিয়ে দিই পুরো তারা পুরো just give me some time clear frame করে এটা নতুন করে দিচ্ছি একদম so the thing was so this was a semicircle so we know the semicircle so we know I of the semicircle so this I1 value we know so this I1 of a semicircle is actually it's না এটা করলে তো আবার হবে না actually I1 মানে কোনটা CG হচ্ছে
G1 sir it should be gone through
G1 so unless you calculate G1 so you cannot directly apply you cannot combine actually কারণ এটার সাথে তো CG relation আছে না so this is related to so whenever you are applying the parallel axis theorem always you have to write some I that is equal to IG plus AD square so unless you go back to its CG you cannot calculate anything বুঝেছো so let's calculate IG1 first মানে যেটা তোমরা বলছো যে ডাইরেক্টলি উই ক্যান ক্যালকুলেট আই ডোন্ট থিংক সেটা হবে ইন দিস কেস দাঁড়াও জাস্ট গিভ মি ওয়ান সেকেন্ড
ওটা তো হয়ও না কারণ এটা তো স্কোয়ারের সঙ্গে আছে না তো ওভাবে তো যোগ করা যাবে না
ওটা স্কোয়ারের সাথে আছে তো ওটা ডাইরেক্টলি তুমি
CG
অ্যাড
থ্রুই
করতে
করতে
পারবে
হবে
না
স্যার এরকম তো হবে না স্যার
তোমাকে সিজি তে ব্যাক করাতে হবে ওটাকে ঠিক আছে সো ইউ হ্যাভ টু গো ব্যাক টু দ্য সিজি অফ দি সেমি সার্কেল সো এটা একটু বড় করেই আঁকি সো ধরো দিস ইজ দ্য সেমি সার্কেল তো সো উই নো দিস I1 so it's getting more complicated this problem so still I hope that it gets you a lot of things to learn so actually initially you have to calculate IG1 so what will be IG1 so it is just the inverse of the parallel axis theorem inverse মানে just উল্টে যাবে minus it will be coming out to be negative so I1 will be equal to IG1 plus AD square so whenever you calculate IG1 so now in order to calculate IG1 so IG1 will be equal to I1 minus A into D square so what is I1 so I1 was কত ছিল I1 was your pi by 8 r to the power 4 minus area of the semicircle is what pi r square by 2 pi r square by 2 into D so D is this distance so distance between the two axes so this is 4r by 3 pi so this is actually 4r by 3 pi whole square so now you calculate this value so from here you will be initially able to get the value of IG1 so whatever is the value you are finding just write the answer so it won't be matching with my answer because আমি ওখানটা একটু ভুল করেছি that's why I just fumbled there ঠিক আছে okay so now when you are getting IG1 so you have got your moment of inertia about G1 so now you have to calculate what is the moment of inertia about G so now directly I can use the formula of parallel axis theorem so this IG so the IG from 1 so that will be equal to IG1 plus A1 into D1 square so that is equal to IG1 is whatever is the value you are getting from IG1 you write it plus A1 is actually the area so it is again pi r square by 2 into D1 so now what will be D1 so D1 will be the distance from G1 so in order to calculate that how to calculate D1 so D1 is this distance so this distance is D1 so how to calculate D1 any idea so D1 টা আমরা কি করে পাবো D1 টা হবে হচ্ছে দেখো this distance we know এই distance কত এসেছে this distance came out to be like এই distance টা দেখো I have calculated D1 in the note also so D1 is equal to C so D1 is this is 4r by 3 pi and this distance is this side of the rectangle is actually 25 and from bottom to this one so this distance is y bar so y bar is 22.7 so let's write it like y bar so now you can write D1 so D1 will be equal to 4r by 3 pi plus your 25 minus y bar. So 25 minus y bar will be something like 2.33, which I have mentioned in the note. So just you put the values and all, you will be getting the value of D1 to be something like 12.94 millimeter. So the value of D1 will come out to be something like 12.94 millimeter. So once you get all the values, you put here and you will be getting the value of IG1. ঠিক আছে? So now I have got the value of IG1. So now once I have got the value of IG1, I hope for the rectangle it will be comparatively easier. So again I am doing it because space is very limited for me. So now for the rectangle, so the rectangle centroid is G2 and I have to calculate the moment of inertia about G. So for if the rectangle were a standalone rectangle, what will be its moment of inertia about its own centroidal axis, which is G2. So G2, I can call it like say, so G2, if an axis has passed through G2, so what will be the moment of inertia? So what will be G2? So for a rectangle, we know it is always BD cube by 12. For a rectangle about its own CG, it is always BD cube by 12. So base into depth cube by 12. So what is the base? So this base is actually 50. And depth is, so depth of the rectangle is 25. So B into D cube. So 50 into 25 cube. So BD cube divided by 12. So this is the moment of inertia of the rectangle about its own CG passing through G2. Okay? But I want to find out the moment of inertia about the centroidal axis x0, y0. So what will be IG? So IG, I am calling it from 2, say element number 2. So that is equal to IG2 plus A2 into D2 square. So what is D2? D2 is the distance between these two axes. So let's calculate IG2. So what will be IG2? So IG2 will be this one. So 50 into your 25 cube, BD cube by 12 plus A2. So A2 is the area of the rectangle. So which is 50 into 25 into D2. So what will be D2 now? So D2 will be equal to, so this one is actually 25 by 2. So this is y bar minus 25 by 2. So D2 will be, so up to this distance is y bar. So A distance, this distance is y bar and this distance is 25 by 2. So that is, so D2 will be equal to y bar minus 25 by 2. So you put all the values, whatever are the values you are having. So you put the values and then you can calculate the value of D2. So just see D2 with a 10.17 SJ. So just see whether it's coming out to be something like 10.17 millimeter, which I have done in my note. I may be wrong also. Just don't take my notes for granted. Just try the problems by yourselves also. So this is 10.17 whole square. Regarding the problems, always try the problems by yourselves. It's a suggestion. So what will be I? So in this case, you are getting IG2. Okay. So IG2, it will come out to be something like, so it will come out to be something like 1.94. So you have got the value of IG1 and IG2. So the final I about G, so that will be having a contribution from IG1 plus IG2. So whatever is the values you have got, you add the two and you will be getting the final moment of inertia, which in our case has come out to be, তোমাদের পরে একটা ক্লাস আছে না? I hope.
হ্যাঁ স্যার
আমরা moment of inertia অবধি করে রেখে দিই আজকে. So it is something, it will come out to be something like 401.1 into 10 to the power minus 9 millimeter 4. So up to this, I hope you do it at your home, and then from the next class, next time you just choto kore boleo dite pari if you feel. So it will be something like this. It came to be 401.16 into 10 to the power minus 9 millimeter 4. হ্যাঁ বলো।
আপনার যে নোটে অ্যানসার দেওয়া আছে আর বইয়ের যে অ্যানসার দেওয়া আছে দুটো কিন্তু সেমই আছে, তো আপনার তো প্রসেসটা ঠিকই আছে, তাহলে যে নোটে দিয়েছেন যেটা।
আচ্ছা আমি আরেকটা একটু মেলাবো, ওটা অ্যাকচুয়ালি নোটে মাইনাস করেছিলাম পরে
কিন্তু স্যার আপনার অ্যানসার মিলে গেছে বইয়ের অ্যানসারের সাথে, সেটা বলুন।
ঠিক আছে, আমি আরেকবার একটু দেখবো এটা, ঠিক আছে। আমি করতে গিয়ে ফাম্বেল করলাম বলে আমি একটু অন্যভাবে করলাম এটাকে, বাট আই থিঙ্ক ওখানে একটু আমার নিজেরও ভুল হয়েছিল সামহাউ। আমি আরেকবার একটু এটা করে দেখবো, ঠিক আছে? আচ্ছা, সো যেটা আমি
স্যার ওটা মিটার 4 হবে না, মিলিমিটার 4 কেন হবে?
মিটারে ছিল কি, সব তো মিলিমিটারই আছে।
স্যার মিলিমিটারে ক্যালকুলেট করলে ভ্যালুটা অনেক বড় বেরোবে, -10⁻⁹ কি করে হবে স্যার?
আমি একটা নোট থেকে দেখে লিখছি কত বেরিয়েছে দেখছি।
আপনার আসতে শোনা যাচ্ছে।
হ্যাঁ, এটা অ্যাকচুয়ালি ইট উইল বি 401.16 ইন্টু 10⁻⁹ মিটার 4 হবে, ঠিক আছে? ওকে, সো নেক্সট একটা ছোট জায়গায় কি আমি করে দেবো নাকি আমাকে মানে নেক্সট ডে করবো? দেখো 2 মিনিট নেওয়া যাবে? 2 মিনিট জাস্ট।
হ্যাঁ
স্যার, হ্যাঁ,
Can I take 2 minutes?
11টা থেকে
বাকি
ক্লাস আছে।
2 মিনিট আমি জাস্ট একটা জিনিস বলে দিলেই বাকিটা ইউ ক্যান ডু ইট, ঠিক আছে? সো দ্যাট ইজ ওয়াই আই এম টেকিং দ্যাট টাইম, সো দ্যাট ইউ ক্যান ডু দ্য প্রবলেম এট ইউর হোম অলসো। উই উইল ম্যাচিং আওয়ার আনসার্স অন দ্য নেক্সট ডে। আই হ্যাভ টু অলসো লুক ইনটু ইট। সো এইটা দেখো, সো এইখানে দেখো there is a force of 4 kilonewton, and again there is a force of 4 kilonewton here. So if you go back to the problem, so you can see that we are supposed to find out the what is the moment at this in the portion. So what was the portion called like? It was called like ABC. So we have to find out what is the stresses in the portion BC of the beam. So they have asked us to do our analysis based on the portion BC. So for that we have to find out what is the moment M that is acting on the portion BC of the beam. So this one is AB. কি হয়? হ্যাঁ, so this one is the beam. So it's taking time, something for I don't know why. So eta hocche this was the beam. So you have a force of 4 kilonewtons here and a downward force of 4 kilonewtons here, and these distances are given. So যেভাবে আমরা করি, so let's take a cross section somewhere around here. So let's take, so any cross section let us take and let us do a static moment analysis for the portion. So suppose I take a portion, so there is a force of say 4 here, and I am supposed to find out what is the moment. So generally always the anti-clockwise moment I take it as positive. So I am assuming that there is a moment of m here. This one is 0.3 meters. So if I write the moment equation for this one, taking the anti-clockwise moments to be equal to 0, so what I should be having, so this is m, and okay, so what is the moment for this force? Cross section না নিয়ে পড়া যেত। So what is the moment for this force? Cross section টা নিতে হবে না ধরো। So লিখে নাও, let m be the moment acting at the portion BC of the beam. Let m be the moment acting at the portion BC of the beam. মানে cross section, taking cross section I will also be explaining, কিন্তু এখন আর আমি এটা করছি না, সেটা আমরা পরে আবার যখন we will be doing shear force bending moment diagram we will go by cross sections and all, ঠিক আছে? So now let m be the moment acting on the fixed end of the bar. So m will be equal to m, so this moment, so it will be having a clockwise moment, so -4 into 0.6, and this 4 it will be having an anti-clockwise moment, so +4 into 0.3, so that is equal to 0. So what is the moment acting on the portion BC? So the moment acting on the portion BC will be equal to, so if you calculate this, so this will be 4 into 0.6 minus 0.3. So it was 4 kilonewton, I hope. So that is why it came to be like 1200 Newton meter. So now you have got the value of the moment. So now you have got the value of the moment, and you know, so for the cross section that I had considered, so you know the, আচ্ছা 11টা বেজে গেছে, থাক আজকে, ঠিক আছে? So you have got the value of moment, so you can calculate y top, y bottom, and then you put the values, you will be getting the value of the stresses at the top and the bottom fibers of the cross section respectively. ঠিক আছে? So this is the concept for this problem. Hello?
ওকে স্যার।
Okay, ঠিক আছে, তাহলে আজকে এতটাই থাক, নেক্সট ডে আমরা আবার ডিসকাস করব।
স্যার কালকে
তোমার
আপনি
next class-
কনজিকিউটিভ 2 পিরিয়ডস নেবেন তো 10টা থেকে 12টা?
এটা খুব ভালো হয়, কনজিকিউটিভ নিলে আমরা অনেকখানি করাতে পারি, এমনি তো দ্য প্রবলেমস
হ্যাঁ
আর
স্যার,
ভেরি বিগ।
কালকে ওইটা আমি সবাইকে বলে আগে থেকেই রেখে দিয়েছি স্যার। কালকে আপনি 10টা থেকে
হ্যাঁ
করালে
হ্যাঁ,
কোনো অসুবিধা নেই,
তাহলে
10টা
কালকে
থেকে
আমরা
12টা।
অনেক কটা প্রবলেম ডিসকাস করবো, তোমরাও একটু দেখে রাখো, ঠিক আছে?
ঠিক আছে স্যার।
ওকে, ঠিক আছে, ডিসকানেক্ট করছি।
স্যার বলছি আরেক সাত্বিক মন্ডল আমাকে মেসেজ করেছিল যে ও মিটিং এ ছিল,
দিয়ে দিচ্ছি।
কিন্তু
ঠিক আছে, যাদের রোল কলে ইয়ে আছে তারা আমাকে একটু পাঠিয়ে দাও, হোয়াটসঅ্যাপ করে দাও, হোয়াটসঅ্যাপ দেয়ার রোল নাম্বারস, দোজ হু আর হ্যাভিং সাম ইস্যুস উইথ attendance, just send the roll numbers to me by WhatsApp, I will be giving them present.
ওকে স্যার, ওকে স্যার,
আমাকে হোয়াটসঅ্যাপ করে দাও।
থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার।